Wonderful. Good. Hello, everyone. Hi, Ash. Glad you could be here. Hello, Heather. So nice to see you. So, today I think we're going to talk about all things energy in animals. And do animals see ghosts or can they communicate with spirits around us? And honestly, I believe they can. So we're going to have great discussions. There's something about telling a story about what your animals do. And Heather, I know you have lots of stories because you have the most wonderful little puppies ever. But I have lots of stories about animals as well. Animals will really communicate with us in ways that are very intuitive, very telepathic. And I'm hoping what we'll do today is just talk all about this and get to understand it just a little bit better. So, Heather, welcome, and thank you for bringing up this topic. I think it was a great thing to talk about since everybody has pets. And I'm going to throw the reins over to you. How's your day talking with your pets?
My day's been going really good. It's always nice to be my furry alarm clocks is what I call them, and they just come and give me all kinds of kisses, and that's a wonderful way to start my day. And then our routine just falls into place. But if you hear the odd barking, I'm sorry. It is because they're a wall away type of thing. But did you want me to share a story, Dana? Is that what you
That'd
wanted
be
to hear?
great. I would love to hear a story about your animals seeing ghosts.
Oh, yes. Well, the one that comes to mind right away is I have two baby chihuahuas. They just turned a year Christmas Eve, but I recorded. I took a video of the one. Her name is May West, actually, and so she's tiny. Like she was the size of a pop can when we first got her, and her sister. So, anyways, this May West and I are in the family room, and I noticed that she was gurring, and there were none of the other dogs. They were cordoned off into other rooms, and so she's looking at something moving, and she's gurring and she's shaking and continues to gurr, and she's frightened, very frightened, and so she just cowers down, but she's watching and watching. And so I pan over with my phone with the video on, and I go to where I think she's barking or looking at, and of course I did not see anything, but you can feel an energy, and I know it was coming from her as well, that my awareness peaked up, and it was just fascinating. So that's one of my stories, Dana. And what do you have to say about that, Dana?
I do honestly believe that these animals are really showing us how to be. What are they looking at? What grabs their attention? I don't even know if they can make sense of it either most of the time because I mean they're curious. It's not something that's always in the atmosphere, but they'll tell you whether or not to be fearful of it, or they'll tell you whether or not that it's exciting or they're excited about it. And sometimes animals themselves, like our past pets, will come and they'll come and visit, and then the other animals will be like, "Oh, you're here for a visit," and they get all excited and they get happy. And I just believe that when animals are coming around us and when they're seeing certain things, or all of a sudden something pulls their tail and it's just out of nowhere and they just jump up out of nowhere, and they're like, what was that? And you could just see how they are. I think they try to communicate with us in a way where if we could just allow our telepathy to be open to the words. I have this wonderful cat. She's sleeping in the chair, and one story is I took off to Florida for a couple of months, and I was able to go, and I wanted to go, and off I went. And as I'm in Florida, I left my cat living in the place that we were. I left her at home, but there were people upstairs that were taking care of her. So I was gone for a while, and I did know it would upset her, but I'm glad she was able to stay home. But when I came home and I dropped off my suitcases and I looked at Peaches and I said, "Well, hello, Peaches," she literally did this. Hadn't seen her in 2 months, and she snubbed up her nose at me, and that was that. She was not impressed with me. And the telepathic thought was, where the hell have you been? And that's exactly what I heard as soon as she turned her head away from me. So I believe we have this ability to communicate with our animals, to know what it is that they need and want. I believe that.
Hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I had a similar experience with a miniature schnauzer that we had, and she did the same thing, but she was at someone else's home, and they weren't home at the time when we went to pick her up, and she just looked at us through the door, and she did that, and she just turned and walked away, and it was like, yeah, I don't need you.
And I believe they have these emotions like that. I think
Yeah.
they do have these very human interactions and human emotions. I just don't think they have ego. I think they're just very
Yeah.
simple, and they don't have the ego, and that we should take the examples from how our animals exist and live and how happy they are. Send a dog out to a lake and they're bouncing around like this is the best thing since sliced bread. And you just,
Yep.
if you can follow their examples, it will just show you how to be in a spiritual sense. And I think animals are just so important to have around. So I've had many animals, and I remember as a kid, I'd go riding and I'd take my horses out to the back 40, and I'd be talking about what kids would talk about, dilemmas of school and being bullied and so on and so forth. And I distinctly remember, as I think back to going out and going on these rides, I distinctly remember talking out loud to my horse. But my horse, and in my memory, my horse was talking back to me, helping me guide through what I needed to do with my classmates and what was happening in school, as if we were having these interactive conversations. And my brain, even though I'm very logical and so on and so forth, but as I remember that, I remember those conversations. And yet they seem like they weren't real in some way too. So I'm not exactly sure what it's all about. I don't know what that feedback is, but there's some feedback going on, some paper or something. But yes, so I feel like there's just ways to communicate with the animals that everybody should trust their instincts and trust their telepathy, and when they're looking at things, when they're looking up at the walls and something's catching their attention. You just had an orb fly behind you. It looked like you
Oh.
just had an orb fly behind you.
Oh.
And I think your story this morning, you said, let's talk about animals. I thought, what a great idea. And then you got a gift. Do you want to share that story? That was just the coolest synchronicity ever.
Ever, yes. And yeah, it happened about an hour or so after. I think that we had talked or texted each other actually. And so a delivery man comes to the door, and I'm thinking, oh, gee, what did I order? I don't remember ordering anything. So, anyways, my sister in law likes to send gifts before she comes out. And my sister in law and her family are coming to stay for the week, this week, spring break. And so, anyways, what she sent was this cute little flip card. Um, do I tell who the manufacturer is?
Sure, if you want to. I don't know if there's any, I don't know.
It's Moody Karis, I believe. Fun. Oh, I can't read it. Yeah, anyways, and it says, let the dogs do the talking. And it says, what's your mood? So there's something for, you can just put your mood in. And today is Friday. But I just amazing, isn't it?
Well, that we're talking about animals, and that's the gift you got in the mail today. And it was so funny because when I went to go do the post, I was looking for a happy dog, something that looked funny and that there was a funny little picture. And I just wanted it to be funny because animals have the greatest sense of humor. They really do. It's because they don't have ego. I think that's why they have the greatest sense of humor. And they can laugh at themselves most of the time. So I think it's quite amazing what the animals do. Even kids, there's a fine line between kids and animals. I find that kids are just very sensitive and see things. They see things, and you know their attention is grabbed and they're gazed, and you can watch your kid, but sometimes the kids don't understand what it is that they're seeing either. Their attentions are just grabbed. Well, animals are the same way, I think.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I know this little girl that sees ghosts, and she gets this glaze over her face. Let's call her Precious. She's just such a lovely little thing, and she's 3 years old. And I watch her all the time, and you can just see her gaze over, like she gets this glossy eyes going over her. And I watch her, and she stares off into the energy. You know, she's looking past the people and looking at the dimensional energy that's going on, and she's transfixed by it. Like you can see her, and then all of a sudden, she's looking at somebody because she's making funny faces, and she looks like she's mimicking whoever it is that she's seeing. And as I'm sitting here watching her, I'm looking at where she's looking at. Sometimes I can see a distortion in the atmosphere, but I'm not necessarily seeing the actual corporeal ghost that's standing there. But as I'm watching her and she's making these faces and she's gooing and gawing and doing what it is she's doing, and we're sitting here and we're all watching her do this. She's talking to an empty hallway. Like it was just the strangest thing. And then all of a sudden she acts all shy and she waves. And then her mother, just her eyes went this big and was like, what is she looking at? Yeah. So it's pretty amazing. But I think kids have the ability to be able to see the dimensional frequencies that are going on, or even people who are coming around you. And my only tidbit here is when kids are looking at things or they're seeing things, then you don't want to be on them going, what are you seeing? What are you looking at? What's going on? They don't know what's happening there at that point. So they're not part of that reality in some way. So I try to just say, stay neutral and just ask simple questions maybe, or just make sure that they're okay. But that's just my little tidbit with it. But really, there is that fine line between kids and animals and what they can see. But you can watch where animals are going. That's what you have that video you said.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. And I can share another story too, if you like.
Go.
Just every dog that we've had, and that when we're sitting down in the basement watching TV, there's there's a hallway that has our furnace room and our laundry room, and they're all walled off. And anyways, just the dogs would watch like this. And I was told once that I have a portal in my house. So
in your laundry room?
I'm sorry?
In your laundry room?
In the furnace room and laundry room, there seems to be a portal, is what I was told by someone else a few years ago now. And so anyways, it was just amazing because I never mentioned it at all. And this is what this psychic had said, psychic medium had said, oh, you have a portal and you must be careful because do you feel drained in the mornings? And I said, yes, a lot of times I do. And they said, because you have to close yourself off, maybe you can just explain that maybe a little bit more, if there's what your thoughts are on portals.
Well, I think there's many of them everywhere. And I think sometimes you can feel the vibration walking through them, or sometimes you can see this residual energy that goes through them. Sometimes the pets know the porthole as well. When I'm reading people, quite often what will happen is I will see where people are coming in. I can see where they're coming into the house through the porthole that they have, or not porthole, porthole. Sorry, got this weird voice. I'm going to have to get a microphone because I'm hearing feedback. So anyway, so you will know in the house when I'm reading people where people come in, what doors they come in or what stairs they come up. So I think it's very interesting. But I do believe the animals and the dogs can see the energy coming into our dimensional frequency. And that's why your animals were doing that. So keep watching them and then ask your animals who it is. Let them describe it to you. Let them tell you in a telepathic form who's here to visit. and you're going to hear
Right.
it. You're going to see it, or you're going to see something that is quite interesting that is coming from them. And really, animals will be able to tell us how to communicate with the spirits around us. So I think it's very interesting when we allow it to be. I know I had a little vision with my mom one time. My mom passed 12 years ago, and I would ask her what she's doing and where she is, and she would show me that she was hanging out with the animals all the time. And when she took me on a journey with the animals were actually speaking to you just like you and I are speaking.
Beautiful.
That's how they were communicating with you. So if they can do that on the other side in that dimension, they can do it in this dimension as well. That's my feeling.
Yeah, and that's good. That makes me happy because I love all my animals and I miss them all dearly.
And that they still come around.
Yeah. It's interesting because sometimes I just get overwhelmed with emotion for a certain one of them, and that have passed, and it's just like I'm just going back and like being, with them, having that special time that I had with them. So
sometimes you'll feel them bumping up against your legs and stuff too. Have you ever had that sensation?
Yes. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. I had a cat that visited me all the time. He'd jump on the bed. I had him for 17 years, and I would feel the cat jump on the bed. But I would look every single time, and I never ever saw him, but I always felt him jumping on the bed. So he stayed with me for years until I got another cat.
Yep.
So
it was that something?
It was very something. And I kind of wanted to talk about animal communicators. Have you ever known or used an animal communicator?
No, I have not. But my niece that's coming to stay, she's very interested in that. She's seen a book of mine communicating with the animals. So yeah, go ahead. That's just where I'm at right now. I don't know much more about it.
Oh, well, I think you are going to find out more if that's what she's interested in. Maybe that's the book you need to give her. It seems to me that when you're drawn towards doing that, I'm not an animal communicator. I just understand energy and how it transfers. But I do know animal communicators are very good at helping animals. Like they can find ailments, or if the food isn't right, or what they're upset about. I remember I used to read this lady all the time who had racehorses, and she'd always take me around to each horse, and I'd sit there and give her sort of my rundown of it. And she had one standing on the cross ties in the garage, and she goes, "What's wrong with him?" And as I'm standing there looking at him, and I just scanned down his body, and all of a sudden, I know this is a weird story, but it comes right to his junk, right? He's down at the bottom of his junk. And I said, "Oh, he needs to be cleaned out." And she just looked at me like, what are you talking about? And all of a sudden, her stable hand comes in, and the horse backs up and rubs his bum up against the wall. And this all happens within like 5 minutes of its, not even, probably like 3 minutes. He walks in, and the horse is rubbing the bum up against the wall and says, "Oh, I got to clean him out." So he goes and gets the water and goes up and cleans out the dirt. When the thing is released to do its business, it gets all dusty and what have you. And then it goes back up, and it gets kind of caught and sharp up there. So they have to clean it out. It's uncomfortable for them. So, but it's so funny because he was telling me that's what he needed to do. But I got that spiritually. And then when I said that to the owner of the horse, like at that moment backed up and rubbed his bum up against the wall. And then at that moment, the stable hand came in and cleaned him right out. And he was as happy as could be as soon as that was all done. So when you go to animal communicators, as I say, I'm not an animal communicator, but maybe I am, who knows?
I think you did very well. Yeah.
Right? So who knows what it is. I see what I see. And I think when animal communicators can help with ailments or help with problems with the animals, or if the animal's not doing well, at least they're able to really give you some structure on what you can do to help your pets and what they need from you, especially if we're not so tapped into them or can't trust our own intuition when it comes to the animals. But I always recommend it. I would love to be able to find an animal communicator to come on the show and talk about it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, that'd be something. Yeah, that would be wonderful. Yeah,
Yes, I think
maybe I'll look into that.
I think I know one, but I can't remember her
Yeah.
name. I'm gonna have to go. Oh, Lindsay. Her name is Lindsay. There it is. It just came to me. So there we go. So maybe I can reach out to her if I can find her and see if there isn't something that she would like to bring to the table for animal communications. So good. Now, I know that you have some back pocket topics that you would like to talk to. Do you have any on hand that you were thinking about for future shows?
Oh, for future shows.
Yeah. Am I putting you on the spot?
Well, one of one of them is about. I believe I mentioned this a few days ago about this woman that's in her 70s. She's a retired nurse, and she's been my mentor for meditation. And it's been about a year now that I've met her, and just right away we bonded very quickly. And the meditation that she taught me is just incredible. And it was doing it with a can.
A candle? Is that what you're cutting in and out? So a candle, is that what you were saying? Oh, are you gone? I think she disconnected again. So I think, oh, are you back?
I'm
Hello.
back. I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, perfect. So you were saying meditation with a candle, I'm assuming? You were cutting in and out.
Yes.
Yes. Good.
Yeah.
I meditate with a candle a lot. It's a very calming way to get grounded and tap into yourself. It's lovely to look at. And the candle actually can, you know, bring you things. It's almost like you're scrying, like old cowboys used to scry into the fire, and it's almost like you're scrying into the candle, and you will get visions and you will get things like that. So that's great. I would love that.
That's something else I was going to mention was scrying, and you just mentioned it. I have a scrying disc, if that's such a word. I've not used it yet. I thought that I would wait until I just get more familiar with other things. And crystal gazing,
Yep.
that's something else that you had talked to me about.
So
And
the process is
yeah,
the same though, Heather. Like when you're doing it with a crystal ball, or you're doing it with a flame, or you're doing it with any tool, the process itself is the same.
okay, all right. Okay,
So
very
that,
good.
yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
thing. And of course, I always love talking about spiritual living. I think that's one thing that I'd like to talk more about. But maybe we can ask the people who see the video or topics that they would like to join in with. Ash, is there anything you'd like to contribute, or is there anything you'd like to ask while you're online? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I think for me, I would love to know more. So, like, I feel like I've always been like intuitive, but I feel like over the last several years, I've kind of like blocked it off. So maybe just like learning how to reopen all that.
Unblock your intuitive nature.
Yeah.
Unblock your intuitive nature. I'll write it down. That sounds great.
Ashley, if you don't mind me asking, when do you feel that you blocked it off? What was a pivotal point possibly, that you felt that you blocked it off?
Truthfully, I feel like it was when my dad passed. I kind of just went into this dark space and was like, enough's enough. And I even lost track of who I am as a person. So I'm slowly, refining all that in myself. But I am just struggling to find my intuitive side again.
So I know the video kind of crackled. I'm sure you said it was when your father passed. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Right.
And do you feel that possibly reaching out, having a reading done for yourself, and being able to reach out to your father, do you think that would help you on your journey of healing?
I mean, possibly. I can definitely say that, like, I do pick up on the signs. A big one for me is 444, and personally, there's not really a day that goes by that I don't see it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Isn't that so strange? I have to say something to you. I want to see if it's still like that. Oh, no, sorry. This morning I woke up and I was looking at my back office and it was 444 this
Oh,
morning.
I love that.
Yeah, so very interesting that you're bringing that up as well. I think I have had a reading with you about your dad, and I do believe your dad has come through to me.
Yeah, I know Dad used to come to you all the time too.
Yeah, and I do think he still visits me here and there, so that's probably why you and I have stayed connected in a way.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes, good. So we want to talk more about intuitive and then unblocking your intuitive nature. Heather, do you ever feel like you're blocked as well when it comes to intuition and stuff like that?
Yes, actually, Ashley hit on something that had happened to myself as well. And not that there was a passing, but it's just that I went into a dark hole, is what I call it. And I just didn't feel that I could get out of it. And that's when I felt that I lost a sense of self and any of my intuitive energies. I just um, felt that I was robbed, so to speak, or I was just empty, just totally empty. So it took quite a while for me to climb out of that black hole. But from there, that's where it's brought me to where I'm at now. And I just am continuing on my journey of um, doing studies. That's where I'm meeting Dana. And I just feel like a sponge and I want to absorb and understand as much as possible. And it helps me feel good about myself. And as soon as I start to feel that I'm going down that dark hole, I'm reaching out and just asking for help. And so, anyways,
That's the best thing that you can do with yourself, for
yeah.
yourself.
Dana, what do you think about a quick little meditation and just to help us, enjoy the rest of the day? And,
You know what? I'm not real good at that, Heather. I
I
want to
don't
be.
know. You did a great job the other day. It was phenomenal. And did I ever have a great day
So I
from
think
that?
what I'll do is I'll probably practice up on that, and then we'll actually have a video where it's just the meditation, and then you
Okay.
can have it at any time that you want. But I'll actually do it in a formal setting, and then maybe it'll be its guided meditation. But I think
Okay.
really when we're talking about grounding, and I do believe that we need meditation. And if you are going to be intuitive and you are going to tap into the energies, you really do have to be in that state of mind more frequently than not. So it's really important to make it a part of your practice and a part of your day. So I promise I'll put together a formal one, and we'll do that for sure, and maybe just play it before videos or something. I'm not sure what we'll do, but I love the topic of breaking through the blocks of intuitive healing in a lot of ways too. And always remember, anytime that things are not going well and you're in this dark place, you're basically in a breakdown. That's basically where you are. But like the law of nature, if you fall off a building, you're going to hit the ground. Okay, that's a law. That's just what it is. If you are in a
Right.
breakdown, a breakthrough will follow. So you just have to reach out, and it's one step. It's just one step to get to the breakthrough, and you just do that. It's important to be in breakdowns. I don't want to diminish what that dark place is, because you can't see the light without the dark. It's like you're standing in a room full of light in a room full of dark, and then you open the door. What happens? The light flows into the dark. The dark stops at the light, and that's what it naturally does. So if we can be open to the fact that we're there and have respect for being there, then I think what's going to happen is we're going to be able to really open up the perspectives in so many different ways. So I'm thank you very much, Ash, for the question, and we will work on intuitive training, practicing. It's a tool, it's a muscle, and intuition is a muscle.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Good. Wonderful. So Heather, is there anything that you'd like to close off with? We've been on for, see how quick that half an hour goes? Isn't that amazing?
Yes, yeah. I'm just, just paying attention. And like I say, with the things that came through today and receiving that gift, like I say, I'm in total awe and appreciating what, being intuitive means. So again, you can just even mention about that. So with that gift coming, and I mentioned to you that let's talk about household pets and that type of thing. What is it that was happening there? What was I getting, and the energy?
Absolutely synchronicity. It was a serendipitous event, and you probably had a precognition that you were getting that gift.
Wow. Yeah.
So, and it's not concrete ever. It's never like black and white and this is what it is. But you can't dismiss the fact that it came right at that time. When I asked you this morning what you would love to talk about, and you said, let's talk about animals. I'm like, great. That's always a great conversation to talk about. And not even an hour later, I mean, that delivery man could have came at 3:00 in the afternoon, but he came an hour before we even started talking about that. And if we can't respect the synchronicities in that, then, we're losing the mark here. So that's really how I see it. And because you're so intuitive right now, I think, Heather, you're just really tapping into the universal energies that are coming around you. And, I know sometimes those days are just craziness. They're everywhere and it's stressful. And, sometimes we're mad, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we cry. But honestly, when we see things like this, there is a peace that comes over you because of that.
Right. Yes.
So
beautifully said. Yep.
I honestly think whatever you're in right now, when it comes to the animals and even the visits that you're going to have next week with your family who is part of this, they don't even know they're part of this, but they're part of this. So it's very interesting how it all kind of flows. And I just love the vibrational energy that happens. It's been so nice talking to the both of you. I am going to put this on a record, of course, and put it out on a podcast. And anybody who didn't hear it can hear it later, because I think we did an awesome job. And I can't wait to talk about all things energy some more in the future. I want to thank you, Heather.
Have a beautiful day, Ashley, and you as well, Dana.
You too.
Lovely to talk to you both. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.